The entire boardroom fell silent the moment she said it. Not the polite silence of professionals waiting their turn, but the kind of silence that freezes time, the kind that makes every heartbeat suddenly louder. 40 people sat around the long glass table, executives, managers, advisors, all staring at the woman at the head of the table. Her voice had been calm, almost gentle, yet the words she had spoken landed like thunder. "I don't have a husband. Can I date you?" And she had said it while looking directly at Nathan Carter. Nathan felt every eye in the room burn into him. His throat tightened, his hands stiffened on the folder in front of him, and for a moment he wondered if he had heard her wrong. After all, this wasn't just any woman. This was Isabella Whitmore, the brilliant, powerful CEO of Whitmore Industries, a billion-dollar company whose decisions shaped entire markets. And Nathan was just the quiet project analyst sitting halfway down the table. But what no one in that room knew was that Nathan Carter had already survived storms that most people would never even understand. Before we continue this emotional story, take a quick second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances. Also tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We love seeing our community from around the world. 3 years earlier, Nathan's life had collapsed in a way that still haunted him. He had once lived a simple but happy life in a small suburban house outside the city with his wife, Emily Carter. Emily had been the warmth in every room, the laughter that filled their kitchen on Sunday mornings, and the steady light that made Nathan feel like the future would always be okay. But life has a cruel way of rewriting plans. Emily's illness came quietly at first. Small fatigue, a persistent cough, doctor's appointments that slowly turned from routine checkups into something far more frightening. Within months, Nathan found himself sitting in hospital waiting rooms more often than at work. And one cold autumn evening, as rain tapped against the hospital window, Emily slipped away with Nathan's hand in hers. Nathan was left alone. Alone except for one tiny person who suddenly depended on him for everything. His daughter, Lily Carter. Lily was only 4 when Emily died. She didn't fully understand what had happened. She only knew that Mommy wasn't coming home anymore, and that Daddy's eyes looked sad a lot of the time. Nathan tried to stay strong for her. But grief is a quiet thief. It steals sleep, confidence, and sometimes hope. Nathan worked long hours, took every overtime project he could, and did everything possible to keep their small world from falling apart. Mornings began at 5:30 a.m., when Nathan would quietly make breakfast, while Lily still slept. Then he would wake her gently, braid her messy golden hair in ways that never looked quite right, and walk her to preschool before rushing to the office. Evenings were a blur of cooking simple dinners, helping Lily with puzzles, and reading bedtime stories while exhaustion pressed heavily on his shoulders. Some nights after Lily fell asleep, Nathan would sit alone in the dim living room holding Emily's old photo frame, wondering if he was strong enough to keep going. The world outside didn't notice his struggle, but Lily did. Children have a way of seeing things adults hide. Sometimes she would hug him tightly and whisper that everything would be okay. Those small arms around his neck became Nathan's greatest source of strength. When Nathan joined Whitmore Industries, he didn't expect much. It was simply a better-paying job, one that could give Lily more stability. He worked quietly, avoided office gossip, and focused on doing his work well. Most employees barely noticed him, but someone had been watching. Isabella Whitmore. She had built Whitmore Industries from a struggling logistics company into a global powerhouse before the age of 35. Magazines called her the Iron Visionary. Competitors called her ruthless. But the truth was far more complicated. Isabella had grown up surrounded by wealth but not warmth. Her father had been a brilliant businessman but an emotionally distant man who believed love was weakness. Isabella learned early that success required armor. So she built walls. High ones. Walls made of discipline, ambition, and control. Relationships were temporary. Trust was rare. And yet something about Nathan Carter had quietly caught her attention. It began with small things. The way he never complained. The way he left the office exactly at 5:15 every evening no matter how busy he was, something highly unusual in a corporate environment. At first, Isabella assumed he lacked ambition, until one evening she saw something unexpected. She had been leaving late from the building when she noticed Nathan outside near the parking lot. He was kneeling down beside a little girl with golden hair, Lily. The child ran into his arms with the pure joy only children can express. Nathan lifted her easily, laughing in a way Isabella had never seen inside the office, and suddenly the quiet employee she'd barely noticed looked different. Human, warm, real. Curiosity grew. Over the following months, Isabella began noticing Nathan's work more closely. His reports were brilliant, not flashy, but thoughtful and intelligent. His ideas saved the company thousands of dollars in operational costs. Yet he never took credit. He simply did his job and went home to his daughter. Something about that quiet dedication stirred a feeling Isabella didn't fully understand. Perhaps it was admiration. Perhaps it was loneliness, recognizing another lonely soul. Then came the board meeting. A high-stakes meeting about restructuring the company's international logistics network. Executives debated aggressively for hours. Nathan sat quietly until Isabella asked for his opinion. The room expected a short answer. Instead, Nathan calmly explained a strategy that solved the entire logistical problem with remarkable clarity. The board members were stunned. And for the first time, Isabella truly looked at him. Not as an employee, but as a man. A man who carried invisible strength. A man who had clearly known pain. And before she could stop herself, the words slipped out. "I don't have a husband. Can I date you?" The boardroom erupted into stunned silence. Nathan felt like the world had tilted. He wasn't embarrassed. He was terrified, because the truth was, Nathan had promised himself something after Emily died. He would never open his heart again. Not because he didn't believe in love, but because losing Emily had broken him in ways he still didn't fully understand. He couldn't risk putting Lily through another loss. So he simply lowered his gaze and said quietly that he needed time to think. The room buzzed with gossip for weeks, but Isabella never pressured him. Instead, something surprising happened. She began visiting the office cafeteria at lunchtime, and sometimes Nathan happened to be there. They didn't talk about dating. They talked about life, about grief, about responsibility. One afternoon, Nathan brought Lily to the office because the babysitter had canceled. Lily wandered curiously through the hallway and eventually found Isabella's office. The powerful CEO expected the child to be shy. Instead, Lily walked straight up to her desk and asked if she liked drawing unicorns. Within minutes, the two were sitting on the floor coloring pictures together, and for the first time in years, Isabella laughed like a child. Something inside her softened that day. Weeks passed. Nathan saw something different behind Isabella's confident exterior. Not arrogance, loneliness. And Isabella saw something in Nathan she had never encountered before. Quiet courage. Eventually, one evening, as the sun painted the city skyline gold, Nathan stood outside the office building holding Lily's hand. Isabella walked out beside them. Nathan took a deep breath. He wasn't sure what the future would look like. But for the first time since Emily died, he realized something important. Moving forward didn't mean forgetting the past. It meant honoring it by continuing to live. So he finally looked at Isabella and smiled. And that moment, quiet, simple, yet filled with hope, changed all three of their lives. Before the ending of this story, we have a special request for you. Comment the word hope if you believe that even after the darkest moments in life, something beautiful can still begin. Years later, people would often say that the most powerful CEO in the country had made the boldest move in corporate history by asking a single dad out during a board meeting. But those who truly knew the story understood something deeper. It wasn't about power. It was about courage. The courage to love again, and the courage to say yes. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more emotional stories like this. Your support helps these stories reach more people who might need a reminder that kindness and second chances still exist in this world.